All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Dr. Bill Dorfman, how's it going, my man?
I'm good. How are you, Roy?
I am good on this Canada Day, which is July 1st for us. So, lots of flags and fireworks about to start in the evening time. How are you?
I'm good. We have the 4th of July coming up, so we're right behind you.
I love that. I love that. Anything planned that you have exciting going on for that day?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to drive to Santa Barbara. My little brother Gary just bought a house in Montecito, so this will be the christening of his house.
I love that. I love that. Well, good old family time and things like that. So, we're here to talk today. And I think one of the biggest things that come up for me is that the reference point of you being the Michael Jordan of dentistry. Elaborate that to the listeners of what that is and how did you come by that name?
You know, I'm going to share an interview I had with Oprah. I've been interviewed hundreds, if not thousands of times in my professional career. But my favorite one was in about 2006, just coming off of ABC's hit show Extreme Makeover. Oprah had me and said, Dr. Bill, you have had a career unlike any other dentist in the world. You're a New York Times bestselling author. You created Zoom tooth whitening and grew that business from zero to $1.3 billion in sales. You have raised close to $30 million for children's charities at that time. She's listing all these things. And she says, what is it that inspires you to think so far outside the box? Now, that was not a phrase that was really common in our lexicon at the time. And I literally just looked at Oprah and said, what box? And we cracked up. And I think that really kind of gives a broad overview of my entire life. And one of the things that I think has made my life so special is I never looked at boxes. I never thought that there was any limitation to what I could or couldn't do if I really set my mind to it. I run a program for kids called LEAP. It's a motivational leadership program. And I tell kids, I never fail. And I'm not being arrogant. I never fail. Why? Because if I do something and it doesn't come out the way I want, I don't look at that as failure. I don't beat myself up. I say, okay, that was practice. And then I'll do it again and again and again and again and again until I get it right. But one of the big mind shifts that we need to make is we always say practice makes what?
Perfect.
Wrong. Practice makes permanent. If you're doing it the wrong way, you're going to get really good at doing it the wrong way. Stop doing that. Step outside of your box. Find a mentor, find somebody, even just go online. I mean, look, when we were kids, we didn't have the internet, you know? Kids today, you've got everything at your fingertips. If you can't find a live mentor to help you, go on your computer and Google stuff. I mean, there's no reason for you not to find out the answer to things you need to know. And that's one of the things I love to do at our LEAP program is we run this program. It's a nonprofit I set up. This will be our 15th year. It's at UCLA, and we still have room, by the way. If you have listeners that have kids 15 to 25 that would like to attend, we do the program both live and virtually. Now, back in 2020, we had a few thousand kids virtually. Last year, we probably had a few hundred. This year, it's like, no, I'm coming. Like, kids are tired of virtual everything, but we still have room in the program, and it starts July 17th. I don't know when you're going to post this. We also have a lot of money this year for scholarships. So if you come from a family that couldn't afford $2,500 for the week and you want to apply for a scholarship, it's not too late, but you better do it super soon because we'll hit the deadline pretty soon. But it's an amazing program. This year I have, and I always get great speakers. In the past I've had Anthony Hopkins, Mark Wahlberg, Michael Strahan, Usher, Eva Longoria, Kathy Bates. I mean, I can go on and on. This year, I have Richard Branson, Paula Abdul, and Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, Prince. His son Prince has taken his father's name, and he now goes by Michael Jackson Jr.
I didn't even know
So
that.
we will have Prince there.
That's why I love that. I love that. You know, this is what I love about having these type of conversations because you never get to hear all the great things that a lot of role models, influencers, successful businessmen like yourself are doing some impactful things in this world. So definitely hats off. And I'm going to back this up. Everybody should definitely check that program out because clearly it's something that we need to, you know what I mean? And support and get the youth guided in the right way, you know what I mean? And things like that.
Absolutely. You know, the thing about Leap, we don't just change kids' lives, we save kids' lives. There are kids, Roy, that come to this program that are so lost and have no direction and no leadership and nobody who really guides them. And we give them that. You know, we put them in groups with other kids their age, and we form a community around these kids that really supports them and helps them grow. It's pretty amazing.
No, no, definitely. What has been for yourself? Kind of spin the dial back to you. What's been one of the most significant aha moments for you that's helped transform you into this world-renowned dentist?
Um, you know, it was something that happened very early in my career.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Granada Hills High School. Granada Hills High School became famous because of John Elway. He was there at the same time as me. And when I first opened my practice, there was a young woman that I had gone to high school with that came in, and she had a lot of dental work, and she just didn't have a lot of money. And she said, "Would you barter with me?" And I said, "Well, what do you do?" She says, "I'm a publicist." I'm like, "All right, what do you do?" Like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know a publicist from a hole in the wall, right? So she explained it, and I'm like, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't really need a pub. I'm a dentist. I'm not like an actor. I'm not famous. She said, "I will make you famous, and that will bring patients into your office." So I didn't believe her, but I also felt really bad for her because her teeth were messed up. So I'm like, all right, let's try it. One of the smartest things I ever did. I mean, that woman took the bull by the horns, and within 2 to 3 months, she had me in Forbes and like magazine after magazine. And then I started getting covers, and then, and then she branched out because, I was all into like fitness, and then she got me into like men's health and men's fitness, and then she got me into all these philanthropic things. But it was, and then I got to a point when I got on Extreme Makeover. Dr. Garth Fisher was the first plastic surgeon on the show. I was the dentist. At the time, he was married to Brooke Burke. Brooke was kind of a big deal with Wild on E and this and that. So I switched from that publicist to her publicist because her publicist had like real like manpower. It was a whole team. And that just shot me into the stratosphere. I mean, they started getting me stuff like I'm on Larry King, I'm on Oprah, I'm on, I mean, you name it, sky's the limits. And then when I wrote my book, I didn't write a book. I wrote a New York Times bestseller. When they came to me and they asked me to write a book, I said, I said, if we're doing it, it's going to be a New York Times bestseller. And they were like, okay, well, how's that going to happen? I said, I'll get back to you. So I went online and I found a guy named Michael Drew with a company called Promote a Book. And at the time, in order to become a New York Times bestseller, you needed to sell 20,000 copies in the first 2 weeks. Well, I invented Zoom tooth whitening. We had a big dental company, and I had 100,000 dentists ordering product from me every month. We categorize them A, B, C, D, and F. Our A and B dentists were 20,000 dentists. So I said to Michael, what if I just buy it for him? What if I just buy 20,000 books and give it to my best clients as a gift? can I do that? Now, today you can't, but then you could. That's what I did. I bought 20,000 books. I sent a nice note saying, thank you for supporting, Discus Dental. And if you'd like to buy more books, instead of me, I had to pay full retail. You can buy them at half price for $10 a book, and all the money will go to charity. So I become a New York Times bestseller. We raised $300,000 for my LEAP Foundation. And it was like, and then all these kids got to go to LEAP. It was like a win-win-win.
No, no, definitely. So, with everything that you do, work life balance, before we hit the record button, you spoke about being a girl dad. How do you balance, right, through work life balance and everything, through family life and business and all these different opportunities that you're going through and things like that?
So let's put this in context. So you asked me if I was a Lakers fan or a Clippers fan because I live in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't do basketball because I'm a girl dad. I got three daughters. And so that's where we ended up with that. But I'll tell you, one of the early lessons I learned is that no matter how busy you are, you can't do it alone. It takes a team, you know? And so I hire great team players. Sinette is my office manager. She runs the office. Nicole is my PA, my personal assistant. She runs my life. Evelyn is my ex-wife. She runs the family. We're so very close, So, I have these three incredible women in my life that basically help support me and run stuff because you can't do it all on your own, and you really need to delegate, and you need to trust people, and that's really how I get things done. It was crazy. We sold Discus Dental back in 2010 to Philips. So Discus Dental is a company I started with my best friend, and we owned it for 20 years, and we created Zoom tooth whitening, a bunch of, we did Breath RX, we did Night White, Day White, a ton of dental products that, you guys would know because you're not dentists. But we basically grew that company from zero to $1.3 billion in sales before we sold it to Philips. And one of the things that I really try to do, especially at the LEAP program, is impact kids. And I always say, if I can get these two concepts into those brains, I feel like I was successful. Number one, don't wait for opportunities in life, make them. If I meet another millennial who tells me they're waiting for the universe to do something, I'm just going to scream. The universe doesn't care about you. Okay? I'm just going to tell you flat out. You need to care about you. And number two, when you get a great opportunity in life, Rory, don't take it. Master it.
Mm, love that. Music to my ears, my man.
And that's a big difference. Look, when ABC put me on Extreme Makeover, I stunk. I'm not going to lie. Like, they should have fired me straight away. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. I looked like a deer in headlights. Dentistry, no problem. TV and dentistry, not my thing. But at least I was smart enough to know how bad I was. And instead of waiting to get fired, I did something about it. I took acting classes, hosting classes, teleprompting class. I signed up for acting school. Like, you're a dentist? Like, what are you doing here? You know? But I'll tell you something. Over the seasons, I got so comfortable that by the time the show went off the air in our third year, I was producing my own segments. I saved ABC millions of dollars. The plastic surgeon would do like one breast augmentation. It took 8 hours. I had 3 rooms set up at a time with 3 different camera crews, and I'm doing 3 patients all in one day. It was nuts. But I really took the bull by the horns, and I learned what I needed to learn, and I learned how to get the best results with the best TV. And that's why I was the only dentist on the show.
Oh, man. So, when we think about all this that you've done, Are you looking to like get maybe into screenwriting eventually, maybe down the road, or maybe you do a complete 180 and get somebody to play you, or you even play yourself in a movie of Dr. Bill Dorfman?
Nah, that's not my thing. But I do have two huge products coming out in the next month.
What are
In
those
fact, one of
products?
them you can go online right now and get. In fact, hang on. Ah, so the way that I invent products, so let's go back. 1986, tooth whitening hits the market, right? The initial whitening products were just crappy. They came in a plastic bag with these ugly syringes in there. Now, you're too young to know this, but before we had Xerox, we had something called mimeograph.
I don't
You
even
don't
remember
even
that.
know that.
No, I'm 38,
But
man.
yeah, you
So
weren't born, dude. You weren't born. But it was on this like crumbly, like super thin paper that came on a roll, and the ink was barely legible in blue, and it faded. Like after 2 months, it was like you had a blank paper, right? I mean, it was horrible. They had that in there. I mean, it was just bad. And so when I first started using I'm like, I feel there's a potential here. Serendipitously, I'm at a charity event where I meet Robert Heyman. We become best friends. Robert grew up in the cosmetic industry. His father, Fred Heyman, formed Giorgio Cosmetics, Fred Heyman of Beverly Hills. He created Rodeo Drive, Fred. So Robert knew cosmetics. He was my age. He knew marketing. I knew a little bit of marketing and dentistry. We formed Discus Dental. And from there, we formed Night White, Day White, and then Zoom was our big hit. And the name was so good, the video conference people took it over. So, but what we did is we created a whitening kit that looked like something in a high-end cosmetic store. Like it was a beautiful box, and you opened it up with directions and models and this and that and other thing. So anyhow, I love caffeine.
don't we all?
I hate coffee. It stains your teeth. It gives me a stomach ache, and it gives you bad breath. So I started using a product called No Dose. All right, 200 milligrams of caffeine, pure caffeine. And if you swallow one of these in about 30 minutes, you get a nice little caffeine buzz. If you chew it in 10 minutes, you get a nice little caffeine buzz. But it tastes disgusting, right? So we used to have these gum balls called Breather X gum balls. So what I would do is I would chew the gum ball with that, and bam, I got the best of both worlds. And then I thought there should be a caffeinated chewing gum. So I launched
Okay.
Buzz Balls.
All right.
Okay? And Buzz Balls are equivalent to a 9-ounce cup of coffee. So basically, pure caffeine, it's 110 milligrams. There are other caffeinated gums on the market that there are grams of caffeine. I kept thymo oil and eucalyptus oil in there. So basically, it kills bacteria that causes bad breath. So instead of giving you bad breath like coffee, it gives you good breath. And because it doesn't have all those dark colors that coffee has, it doesn't stain your teeth. And you chew this up, and in 10 minutes, you're ready to fly. So this is my pre-workout. I just went to the gym. Right before I go to the gym, I take a buzz ball. I'm driving out to Santa Barbara. It's like a 2-hour drive, and I know I get kind of tired driving. Buzz ball. If you got to study for a test, buzz ball. If you need to sit there and get lectured by your girlfriend, buzz ball. I mean, it's
So
awesome.
hold on. Where can the audience and stuff like that be able to check this out on your website personally, or is
It's
it?
online. Now you're in Canada. I don't know if we can ship to Canada. Well, make an order and we'll see.
Yeah,
But just
definitely.
go to buzzballs. Don't forget the s.com.
Oh yeah,
But we
one hundred
should have
percent.
full distribution in the next 2 or 3 months. So
Okay, for sure. You know, you're such an interesting gentleman here. And I think one of the biggest things is as a podcaster, you created your own podcast, right? What is one of the things when
Right.
you created your podcast you felt that you wanted to give to your community and to your audience and things like that?
So I have all these amazing speakers that come to Leap, and we had all this video footage and everything. And somebody approached me and said, "Dude, do a podcast." So we launched our podcast with Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, Eva Longoria, Richard, and like my podcast is in the top 2.5 percentile of all podcasts worldwide, like right out of the gate because of all these people. And basically, the thing that I do in my podcast is I find businessmen and women who are entrepreneurs, and I ask them not only to talk about their career, but also to help create kind of a roadmap for students listening. So if they wanted to emulate their career, they would know the steps they need to
Oh
take to
no,
do
definitely.
that.
And what's been one of those episodes that the audience over on this side should check out to definitely get a good description of what it is you're talking about and some pivotal highlighting moments?
I would say my three favorite episodes with well known celebrities, Anthony Hopkins. He was very, very transparent about his battles with alcohol and how it almost destroyed his life. Mark Wahlberg, same thing. I mean, he was a gangster. He was in jail, and and he turned his whole life around. And Kathy Bates, oh, what an amazing, amazing woman. And what an amazing career she's had. I mean, those are three of my favorites. But I mean, Usher's is great. Michael Strahan's is great. And then I just have so many other. Bebop, who you don't know. Bebop is the creator of the Hyperloop. I mean, there's so many very, very interesting people on there. Jackie Pittman, she's the woman who cast me on ABC's Extreme Makeover. I mean, there's a lot of really
Oh no,
great
definitely.
episodes on there.
When you think about life as it is, you speak about the millennials. What is one thing that you always speak to the millennials about when it comes down to the steps that they should take, if it's either in entrepreneurship, working in the corporate world, or even finding themselves to like maybe want to be like you, get to that next level and into, the stardom that you have right now?
It's funny. I just had this conversation with a friend. You need to show up. Like, show up. This remote working thing is for the birds. It's BS. I will never let people work. Like, I want to see you. I want to see you in front of me. I want to see you on your computer. I want you out walking your dog and going shopping. Like, work. Show up and work. Kids come up to me all the time at Leap. They're like, Dr. Bill, what's the secret of success? I'm like, it's not a secret. Work your buns off. I mean, and I feel like millennials want to do everything they can to not work. You know, Nobody I know that's incredibly successful did it by not working. You know, I mean, I don't get the mentality. They want to do as little as possible. Like, that's not how I did it. When I was building my company, when I was building Discus Dental, when I was building my practice, I was working like 60 hours a week as a dentist. Then I was coming in on the weekends and filming 14-hour weekends because I couldn't do that and see patients at the same time. When I sold my company, I sold it on 10-10-10 at 10 a.m. We give all the kids that come to Leap this little pop socket with a 10 on it, right? And that 10 has a different significance. It's not just because that day was so special for me, but it's also because when kids get there, I tell them I want them to walk like a 10, talk like a 10, act like a 10, but more importantly, surround themselves with other kids that are 10s. Because if you're trying to be a 10 and all your friends are 2s, I have news for you. Not going to happen, right? So we have this whole thing called 10 culture. So I sold my company on 10/10/10 at 10 a.m. It was a Sunday. Monday, I come into work and I had an all hands on deck meeting. I told everybody, and I literally cut my hours from a 40-hour work week to a 20-hour work week. And I said, I am now going to work 20 hours a week as a dentist and then dedicate the rest of my time to philanthropy. And that's what I did. So since 2010, I put a lot of time into LEAP. We really create an amazing program. And if you have listeners, like I said, who, have kids 15 to 25, they could go to www.leapfoundation.com, or they can call us at 877-855-5327 and enroll students. If a kid wants to apply and they need a scholarship, we have scholarships available, and it'll be an amazing program this year.
No, definitely, definitely. I like types of conversations like these. Like I always mention, just because you get to learn so much, definitely, and all that good stuff. And I encourage the audience, check out your brilliant work, everything you're doing, the Leap Foundation, right? I need you to plug that information again where everybody can check that out. And what's going on for the rest of the year? We're what now? 6 months in, right? How are you planning on conquering the rest of the year?
Well,
If that's even a word.
we're launching Buzz Balls, and I'm told that Monday's a holiday here, but Tuesday I think we're going to be on Oprah's favorite list, which will be huge. We also are launching a brand new tooth whitening product, which you'll see in Canada as well. I'm super excited about that. It's like a white strip, but it melts in your mouth. So the stains vanish, the strip vanish, and the name that we trademarked is Poof, POOO, 3OF, tooth whitening strips. So hopefully you'll see that everywhere. And then, just still coming out of this whole pandemic and, getting life back on track. So that's kind of in the horizon.
Okay, for sure. And the Leap Foundation again, if you just want to go over that one more
It's
time, my
just
friend.
www.leapfoundation.com. It will be July 17th to the 23rd at UCLA.
All right, perfect. Well, everybody, check that out. Check out Dr. Bill Dorfman. And I appreciate conversations like this. So I definitely would love to do this again, maybe in person. You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome. Also, I will tell you this. Even though I have 1.4 million followers on Instagram, I personally answer all of my DMs myself. That's not a robot. That's actually me. Et puis, si tu parles français, je peux faire en français aussi. So for Canadians that speak French, I'm fluent in French as well.
I love you did that. I love that you just did that.
Why?
No, because a lot of American people I've had to come on the podcast may not be French. So like to give that little segue there, it kind of makes the French Canadians be like, hey, that's amazing. He's thinking of us also too.
Ja, und ich kann auch Deutsch sprechen. Meine Ex-Frau ist Deutsche from Speyer. I learned German as well.
I was about to say German, yeah. Okay.
Well, I did a 2-year residency in Switzerland, and so I learned to speak French there. So.
No, definitely. Well, my friend, I appreciate you. I know the audience appreciates this conversation. The community appreciates this conversation, and keep rocking on.
All right, thank you, Barry.
Anytime.
Over and out.